Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Lee's Lighthouse, where we dive deep into leadership and personal growth topics. I'm your host, LeighFelton, and if I can make one ask, if you like my videos, if you are interested in the things that I'm sharing, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and share with others. Okay, so today we're talking about an important aspect of leadership: poor management behaviors. And as we progress in our careers, we often find ourselves reporting to a manager, and their style can have a significant impact on our personal growth and success. So it's important to find a manager that is right for you. But a lot of people don't even know what that even means. So in this episode, today, we're going to explore, I hope in a fun way, we're going to explore the different types of poor manager behaviors that can have a significant impact on your growth and professionalism as an employee. So, as we think about the importance of having a good working relationships with your manager, it's important that you can figure out how to make work and experience that work in an enjoyable, fulfilling, and productive fashion. On the other hand, it's more difficult when you're in a situation and you have a bad manager that can make that relationship and that can make your work more stressful, unpleasant, and unproductive. So, what I'm really speaking about here is how your manager approaches that working relationship. There are many, many different types of personalities that will come into play. And, you have to be honest and say it also depends on the manager's, own experience and expertise, on their own insecurities, on the mentors that they've had, and for others who have helped shape how they personally approach being a manager. So, whether you're in the office and you're out in the field or you're even a consultant, there is normally someone who helps to shape the work or the focus area of the activities and the responsibilities that you have. Sometimes that can be positive, and sometimes it can make the job a total nightmare environment. So today we're going to have some fun, and we're going to dive into different personalities of poor management behavior that you might prepare for and come across in the workplace. So let's dive in and get started. First up, we have the micromanager. If you haven't heard that term, I would suggest you look it up because most people know that type of manager. They want to be involved in every single little detail, and they have a hard time trusting anyone to get the job done right. The micromanager is often known for sending countless emails asking for updates on tasks that were just only assigned moments ago, and generally hovering over your shoulder. The micromanager can be a painful type of manager to have, especially if you are an experienced, skillful expert that knows how to get your job done. We also have the infamous ghost manager. This can be even worse than the micromanager. So this is the type of manager who's basically never around when you need them. They have lots of, let's say, private appointments on their schedule, or just in general, they're very hard to get a hold of. The ghost is often the source of frustration for employees who need help, who need guidance, but they can't find the manager who's supposed to be providing that assistance. Okay, we're speeding right through these. And I would say, and potentially even worse than the ghost, is what about the cool boss? So, this is the manager who wants to be everybody's friend. They may take you out for drinks after work or try to organize team building events. That's more about actually just having fun than building skills and building engagement and building collaboration across the team. So, although the cool boss can be a lot of fun, they can also often blur the lines between professional and personal relationships. And that right there can make it very, very delicate in terms of how you get rewarded, how you get recognized, and where those lines are crystal clear. Okay, finally, we have the delegator. This is the person who gives you a task, disappears, and then basically leaves you on your own to figure it out. For some of us, this can be very liberating because we want to have that flexibility. We want to have that freedom. But for others, it can be very frustrating for people who may need more guidance and more support. So there's many different types. And unless you're one of the lucky ones, we actually don't get to choose our own manager. So dealing with a manager you don't get to choose can be challenging, but it's the norm for most of us. And it's very important to find ways to make the best of a situation. It's even more important that you take the time, understand your management style, understand their preferences, even if it's not your own preferred style, knowing how your manager operates, knowing what your manager prefers in terms of communication can help your relationship and help you be more effectively across the board. So these are a couple of things that you might want to consider. Pay attention to their personal communication preferences. Pay attention to their decision making processes. Pay attention to their overall approach to leadership. Make an effort to build a positive relationship with your manager, focusing on what's your common ground, trying to understand how they're perceiving things, how they would like to approach things. It's important, regardless of all of this, that you show your appreciation, for their leadership, and that you seek their feedback, that you seek their guidance when appropriate. And if you do find yourself with a manager that is causing significant frustration, issues, or conflict, my advice, and each situation is individual. So you need to determine for you whether this is the right approach. But my advice is to approach them directly in a professional and constructive manner. Consider having a conversation with your manager about some of those concerns. You come to the conversation with an open mind, as well as a willingness to listen to their side of things. And it's important because maybe they're acting in a certain way that's outside of their own norm, but they're acting in a certain way because they feel you need that flexibility, freedom, or whatever. But also, if you continue to struggle with your manager, don't be afraid to seek support from others, colleagues, superiors, professionals. And sometimes that outside perspective can also provide invaluable insights and guidance on how to navigate those challenging situations with a manager, especially if you can go to someone who has had that manager before. Getting that inside advice even before you accept that person as a manager. But just remember, even when we run into that horrible situation where we have a manager that practice any of these poor management behaviors, you always have the power to control your actions and your reactions. And, I don't believe in positivity just for positivity, but you can stay positive, you can stay professional, you can stay proactive, and you can be productive. You can create a working relationship in an environment that works for you. But remember that, or personal care is actually the most important activity in any situation. If it truly becomes an unbearable relationship, it might actually be time to move on. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in to Lee's Lighthouse, where authentic leadership is the only leadership approach that we think can be trusted and respected. Hopefully, you picked up something interesting here today, informative. But until next time, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate all of you for being here, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next time. Take care. Bye.